So as I've told earlier, this is our third and last session for Amplify Your Impact. So we've had our first session last May 27, as we have this discussion about purposeful branding, designing brands that stick and matter. And last June 19 with Stronger Together, building partnership and for purpose. And we are here right now for our third and last session on July 27th as Pitch Perfect. So aside from those, let me introduce what is PIM or Purpose in Motion. So Purpose in Motion or PIM is a social enterprise that empowers young people with the education, resources, and networks to become mission-driven leaders and effective change maker. So the impact of PIM since 2014 has been greatly significantly impacted 13,000 plus aspiring leaders, participated in 50 plus programs, and also engaged over 110 countries, reached via online and also offline programs. And aside from that, PIM also mobilized 850,000 US dollars to organizations and startups. So aside from PIM, we also have DICT as our organizer for this Amplifier Impact Masterclass session. So we have DICT as the primary policy, planning, coordinating, implementing, and administrative entity of the executive branch of the government of the Philippines. So yeah, I am from the DICT, and also we have here from PIM. Together with me is Divya. So for our session, so I'm not going to make it longer because I know that every one of you are so excited for our session for this evening, and I hope you will guys engage. So for our session, we're going to have this title or topic, Pitch Perfect, Delivering with Clarity and Confidence. So for this session, we're going to talk about how you can strong or how you can make or how you can deliver as strong pitch for your startups or anything that you're going to use or anything that you're going to pitch your projects or programs that you're going to have. But before we go to our discussion proper, let me first introduce our resource speaker. So our resource speaker is a co-founder and CEO of Stilt AI startup and a co-founder of Sip and Scale. So it is a monthly startup dinner series designed to help Gen Zs gain early exposures to startups. And also, our research speaker is recognized as a PH 100 under 30 awardee, TEDx speaker, and Google FGN fellow. He works at the intersection of product, technology, and early stage growth. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored and also very excited to welcome our research speaker, none other than Leonard Ang. Hi, Leonard.
Hi, Leonard. I sorry, hi, Leonard. Hi, sorry. Hi, Julius. Yeah, thank you so much for the warm introduction, and thank you so much as well to everyone here who made it through. I think it's been really interesting. I mean, just sitting here looking at where you guys are from. So it's been um really cool to see that there are a lot of people from different countries as well. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Good evening, everyone. As mentioned earlier, my name is Leonard Ang, and I'm super excited to be with you guys here today. So before I start, I want to give a shout out and thank DICT MIMAROPA and the Purpose in Motion team for inviting me here tonight and also giving me this opportunity to deliver this talk to you all. So uh, you're all here because you're building something that matters, or at least you're thinking of building something that matters, something with a mission that is important to you and the community. But no matter how meaningful or promising your project is, it still has to survive one of the harshest and most difficult gauntlets in all of entrepreneurship, the pitch. And tonight, this is what this talk is all about: how to pitch in a way that makes people stop, lean in, and believe in you. So, whether you're talking to investors, policymakers, mentors, or the people you intend to serve or impact, your pitch is often the first moment they ask themselves, is this worth my time, my trust, and my support? And today, I'll walk you through how to deliver that moment well, not by trying to impress anyone, but by being clear, focused, and compelling. Okay, so before we dive into the different strategies and examples, let me take a moment to introduce myself further. So, I'm currently a senior taking up computer science at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, but most of my learning has happened outside of the classroom. So, over the past few years, I've built and scaled products across several different startups like Dashabs AI, Xproduct, and Hypershelter, and also served as COO at Sandbox, which was later acquired. So I'm the co-founder of Sip and Scale, which is a global dinner series that we started last year for Gen Z founders and students, and we're currently in 23 different countries, 23 different cities in 5 different countries. So we have one in Singapore, Oxford in the UK. We also have one in Nigeria and many more here in the Philippines. And I was also previously the co-founder of a stealth AI startup. And as mentioned earlier by Julius, I was recognized as a PH 100 under 30 awardee, and I spoke at a TEDx conference, and I was also an FGN fellow. And currently, I'm also helping, or at least trying to help, lead the Philippine AI ecosystem efforts at Build Club Manila. So all of this to say, I've seen the pitch from both sides, whether as a founder trying to raise capital here in the Philippines and abroad, or as someone listening to hundreds of early stage ideas. And what I've learned is this: great ideas don't always win, great communication does. So that's a quick overview of who I am, and I guess more importantly, why I care deeply about this topic. Pitching isn't something that I've studied personally, it's something that I've rather had to learn on my own through real world high stakes environments. And it's what helped me open new doors for myself, helped gain the trust of partners, and helped us move the needle forward. So tonight, here's what we'll be covering. So we'll begin by unpacking what makes a pitch memorable and why so many, even with strong ideas behind them, struggle to strike a chord. From there, I'll introduce the 5 block framework, a simple yet powerful way to structure any pitch. And finally, we'll go through some of the most common mistakes to watch out for when delivering your pitch so that you can avoid them before they undermine your message. So, yeah, let's get to it. So, what makes a pitch unforgettable? So, before building one that works, or before we talk about building one, we must understand what makes it stick. So, it's January 2007 at the Moscone Center in San Francisco. The room is packed, anticipation was thick in the air. People everywhere were buzzing. Tech journalists, investors, competitors, and diehard fans from around the world, including the 3-year-old me, who was watching the entire WWDC on like a small TV screen. So everyone was thinking about the same thing. What is Apple going to reveal this time? Suddenly the lights dim, and the screen behind the stage goes black. And then one spotlight. Out comes Steve Jobs, calm, measured, wearing the same black turtleneck jeans and sneakers that you see right now. And he just stands there, quiet, and somehow, with nothing but his presence, the entire room falls silent. And he then opens with this. Every once in a while, a revolutionary product comes along that changes everything. Then he slowly built on the tension. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone. And in that moment, people, including myself, lost their minds. But why? It's because he told a story of transformation by framing the iPhone as a product that represented a turning point in history, not as a device, but as a revolution that for the first time could fit in your pocket. But apart from the product itself, what made his pitch powerful and memorable even until this day was that he delivered it with calm, clear conviction. He believed in every word that he was saying, even though there was a high chance that people wouldn't buy the idea. And that to me is the bar. You don't have to be a Steve Jobs to get there. Because good pitching, or great pitching rather, isn't just about charisma. It's about delivering your message with structure, clarity, and conviction. So now let's unpack why many social impact pitches don't land or strike a chord, even with good ideas behind them. So one of the most common and costly mistakes in pitching is the overuse of jargon, more specifically technical jargon. So founders often fall into this trap when trying to sound credible or sophisticated. But the unintended result is the opposite, as it generates so much more complexity that it clouds understanding with people who are listening to you. And it rather than one that clarifies or reinforces it. So overly technical or academic language might impress someone on paper. So for example, if it's a research paper, but in a pitch setting, it really alienates your audience. It makes them work harder, doubly harder, to understand your message. And when people struggle to understand, they tend to tune out or stop listening halfway. Or worse, they leave the room with the wrong impression. But to be clear, this is not about dumbing things down. It's about making your ideas accessible, especially to those without the same level of domain expertise. Think about it. Investors, partners, policymakers, and community leaders almost always come from diverse backgrounds. And if they cannot understand what you do in simple terms, then they cannot support it. Let's move on to the second pitfall. One I think is very much common in mission driven ventures is that it lacks a solid narrative. Many pitches today are filled with so much urgency, but they still fail to move people. And why is that? It's because they present their case like a report and not like a story. So here's an example to make. The third common pitfall, particularly at the early stage, is a lack of visible traction or momentum. So I would say that at the early stage, having a great idea isn't enough because well, everyone has ideas. What matters is whether you're doing anything with it. People aren't just judging your vision, they're also judging your ability to come through with it. They want to see traction, and if you don't have traction yet, they want to see some level of velocity. And that to me is what helps build up your credibility in your pitch because it shows that you're not just thinking, but rather you're actively building, testing, and learning along the way. And let's talk about the fourth and final pitfall, which is that you're not clearly explaining how your venture becomes a business. So at this point in your pitch, maybe you've done everything right. The story that you've conveyed to everyone is strong. The product that you're building solves a real problem, and maybe you've even shown early traction. And then, just as the room is leaning in and getting interested with what you're saying, you talk about how the business works. Except you don't really say how the business works. So this is more common than you think. Not because founders today or early stage founders haven't thought about revenue, but it's because they don't explain it clearly. So now that we've seen what strong and weak pitches look like, how do you tie it all together? So enter the 5 block framework. So the 5 block framework is a simple intentional structure that would help move your audience from understanding your product to belief and one day to action. So each block plays a role, and together they help build a pitch that's clear, confident, credible, and ready for a powerful ask. So let's start with the first and arguably, in my opinion, the most critical building block of your pitch, which is the hook. So once you've opened with a clear and compelling hook, it's time to share the purpose behind your work. So this is block 2, the mission. The part of your pitch where you define what problem you're solving, who it affects, and why it demands attention right now. The third block is your model. So by now, you've defined the problem and made the case for why it matters. And the audience is now with you. But they're also thinking, how does this work? So this is where the third block comes in. This part of your pitch answers two critical questions. First is how does your solution work in practice? And second is how does it support itself financially? So the fourth block is your traction. So now that your audience understands what you're building and how your model works, the next question is it working? And that brings us to this fourth block. So traction is what helps turn belief, at least with the people listening to your pitch, into confidence and a certain level of credibility. It shows that you've done your homework, and it shows that this isn't just an idea, and it's something that people are using, responding to, and engaging and actively engaging with. You're not just asking people to imagine potential anymore. You're showing that it's already happening. So having articulated your mission, demonstrated the strength of your solution, and presented credible signs of early progress, your final responsibility as a founder is to communicate exactly what support you require from other people. Ultimately, the reason why you're making the pitch. Unfortunately, many founders hesitate here because they offer vague statements of interest in partnerships or potential funding, leaving supporters or investors unclear on what is needed, when it is needed, and more importantly, how will their support and resources be used. So precision matters critically here, because the clearer you ask, the easier it becomes for others to respond, whether it's investors, collaborators, or policymakers, essentially the right people. But following the five essential building blocks could, yeah, make for a stronger pitch. As we wrap up, let's talk about delivery, because no matter how strong your pitch is, how you present it can make or break everything. So here are five common mistakes people make when when delivering their pitch, and mistakes that you can easily avoid. Fixing these will help your message land with confidence and impact.
Okay. So again, we hope that you've learned a lot of things on this session. So we know that we have a very limited time, but the session or the talk of Leonard has been very a great discussion on how you can really perfect your pitch on how you can deliver it with your possible customer or investors. So if you want to learn more about Leonard, or if you want to ask any questions? I believe Leonard will be happy to accommodate your questions. So you can just kindly connect with Leonard on LinkedIn or follow him on LinkedIn. So it's Leonard Andrew Ang on LinkedIn. So we also have it based on the chat box, so you can check it out or search it on LinkedIn. So it's Leonard Ang, so you can see it right away on LinkedIn. So aside from that, please stay updated for the following sessions or following trainings that we're going to do with Purpose in Motion and also the ICT. So you can also follow us on LinkedIn at Purpose in Motion. You can search it on LinkedIn. And also for the DICT MIMAROPA, we have our Facebook page, so you can feel free to see what are the upcoming sessions that we're going to have at the ICT MIMAROPA. So for the other contacts, for the PIM, we have their websites here, the link, and also for the email if you want to reach out to them on their email. So you can kindly reach out at info@pimglobal.org, at also on the ICT. So you can kindly go to our Facebook page if you have any questions, or if you want to join on the future sessions that we're going to have. Yeah, so I guess this is a great discussion and also a great webinar, and we hope that everyone learned a lot of things. And thank you so much for joining in, and we hope to see you again on our next session. And thank you so much for listening and spending your time, your evening with us. And have a great day and week ahead. Thank you so much, everyone.